The fall of the Bashar al-Assad regime in Syria was breathtakingly swift. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken says the fall is a pivotal moment for Syria.
This moment presents a historic opportunity, but it also carries considerable risks. History shows how quickly moments of promise can descend into conflict and violence.
Retired Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis tells the Salem Radio Network all of the dueling factions in and around Syria will make for a volatile country for years to come.
If anybody can sort all of this out and tell me that there's going to be peace in the future anytime soon, I would be incredibly surprised.
Over the weekend, the Israeli military seized control of a demilitarized buffer zone in Syria, created as part of a 1974 ceasefire between the countries. It says the move is temporary and meant to secure the border. A New York City jury has cleared a former Marine of criminal charges in a subway chokehold case.
26-year-old Daniel Penny, the military veteran who used a chokehold on a disruptive subway rider, has been found not guilty of a reduced charge of criminally negligent homicide. A more serious manslaughter count was dismissed Friday because the jury had deadlocked. Both charges would have carried the likelihood of prison time. Neely was black, Penny is white, and the case amplified some of the divisions in the U.S., including race, mental illness, and homelessness. I'm Jackie Quinn.
Police say a strong person of interest in the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson has been arrested. Thompson died in a dawn ambush Wednesday as he walked to the company's annual investor conference. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 240 points. More at townhall.com.
We need to be realistic about our December diet. It's got to be the worst month of the year in terms of eating right. Inevitably, we'll stuff treats, meats, dishes into our mouths, leaving very little room for the right stuff. But you should be taking Balance of Nature every single day. Balance of Nature is made from whole fruit and veggie ingredients, and you shouldn't skip taking these daily supplements. I never do. It's the one thing I'm going to get right because feeling good is important to me, especially in December. Join me in pushing back against the dreaded December diet crash. Get Balance of Nature, fruits and veggies in capsule form. That's all it is. You're going to love it. Use my discount code MikeG. Sign up as a new customer to get 50% off, plus free shipping and their money-back guarantee. This is an awesome December discount, but you got to use my discount code MikeG. Call 800-246-8751 and use the discount code MikeG. 800-246-8751, discount code MikeG, or order online, balanceofnature.com. Use the discount code MikeG to get 50% off plus free shipping.
Here's the Wall Street Business Report.
A slide for market superstar NVIDIA helped pull U.S. stock indexes down from their records. The S&P 500 fell 0.6%, coming off its 57th all-time high of the year so far. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 0.5%. The Nasdaq Composite dropped 0.6% from its own record. NVIDIA was the market's heaviest weight after China said it's probing the chip giant for potential antitrust violations. Stocks in Hong Kong jumped after top Chinese leaders agreed on a moderately loose monetary policy. Prices for oil and gold rose following the ouster of Syrian leader Bashar Assad. The Dow dropping 240 points to close at 44,401. The Nasdaq lost 123 to 19,736. The S&P 500 dropped 37 points to 6052. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm John Scott.
News and analysis at townhall.com.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Cloudy with a low temperature overnight of 56. Tomorrow we're mostly cloudy. Scattered showers were warmer with a high of 69. And on Wednesday, heavy rain expected, especially early on. We do clear out, and Thursday through the weekend looking much nicer. Sunshine and highs in the 50s. I'm Tal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
All right, what do you know? What do you know? Welcome in. It's a Manic Monday here on Sports Talk. And what can you say about Clemson? I mean, just what can you say about Dabo Swinney and Clemson? They just find a way. They just find a way. I mean, left for dead after they lose to South Carolina. Looks like they're not going to have a chance to play for the ACC championship. Have a team, however you want to look at it, have a team fall apart from leading 21-0, or a team coming from behind after trailing 21-0. However you want to look at it, they get a humongous break there to get into the game. Play well. Play well for the half. Play well after three quarters. Got a comfortable lead. Then fall apart. SMU gets back into the game, dominates the fourth quarter, ties it up because of an injury to their normal kick return man who would have been in that spot. They had to make a substitution and put a seldom used player in that return spot with the idea of just calling a fair catch. Then at the last minute or so, they decide, let's take a shot. If it's a short kick, we'll take it out and we'll see what we can do. Gets a great return, gets one pass completion of 17 yards, runs a kicker out there on a kicking team that had 7 kicks blocked in the season, knowing you had to kick it 56 yards into a slight breeze, which meant a low start to that kick coming off the foot, and he drills it. And it wasn't even close. I mean, it was well through. And Clemson wins the ACC championship and a spot in the college football playoffs and everything that comes with that. I mean, Chris Bergen, what can you say about Clemson and Dabo Swinney?
It is clean living, my friend. That's how it works out. By the way, did SMU kick it, squib it, short? I didn't get to see the game because they had basketball Saturday night.
No, they kicked it off. They kicked it off, but it didn't go into the end zone.
Right,
it was right at the line, and Adam Randall was in only because Jay Haynes injured his knee on the second half kickoff. And
yeah, it's amazing. And I saw a tweet, I think it was from Jeff Scott, commenting and applauding Adam Randall. And that's a credit to him because he's a guy who's in a situation now in the modern era of college football. He could have easily transferred and said, no, I'm done because I've been passed by these guys who are up-and-comers. I'm not going to get to play much. Let me go somewhere else. And he stayed in there and made it the play of the game because if he doesn't return it out near midfield, I don't think they have a chance to get into field goal range and attempt that long field goal and win it in regulation. They may have still won the game in overtime, but you just never know. You don't want to take it to overtime with SMU with all the momentum they had in the fourth quarter. And I'm thinking, if you're a Tigers fan, you watched that first half film and you thought, where has this team been all year? This team probably, I don't know if they blow out South Carolina, but they don't lose that game. They probably win the game against Louisville, and it's not a question as to whether or not Clemson's going to be in the playoffs. It's a question as to whether or not they're going to host and get a first-round bye. Instead, as we know throughout the season, they didn't play to that standard much of the year. They played a decent first half defensively against Georgia, played okay against South Carolina, but the Gamecocks were, especially down the stretch, the better team in the fourth quarter, and then that leads us to the fourth quarter on Saturday. And I'm sure Tiger fans were once again having PTSD looking at that after, hey, didn't we just see the same act last week against the Gamecocks and they came back and beat us? Had to be thinking the exact same thing, that SMU was going to win that game. And I think probably if it goes to overtime, they do, because they have the momentum. But to Clemson's credit, when the stakes are highest, it seems that Dabo Swinney's team somehow finds a way, and they get into the playoffs. You can argue whether or not they should be in the playoffs. I don't see any argument there. They won their league, and the way it is set up, they get that auto bid. they're going to have a tough road. There's no question going to Texas. That's not going to be an easy setup. Now, if you want to debate whether or not SMU should have stayed in, and should the ACC, as bad a football league as it's been this year, should it deserve 2, I'm open for that. But I don't think you can criticize Clemson getting in because they did what the rules state. If you win your league, you're in.
Yeah, absolutely. They did what they had to do. And, yeah, they played really, really well until the fourth quarter. Klubnik was very sharp. They had to throw the ball because their running game now, this is something that's going to be a problem for them going to Texas because obviously Phil Maffa is a shell of himself. He's not able to stick it up in there like he normally does. You notice they didn't run him outside very much. They rested him quite a bit. They're just trying to nurse him along. I mean, Sweeney acknowledged that there's injury issue going on there, and they're trying to nurse him along. And now Jay Haynes, it looked like he suffered a really, they haven't said anything yet. He said they were going to look at the MRI today. I guess the next time we have media, we'll find something out unless somebody gets a leak and puts it out. But, I mean, it looked pretty bad. He wasn't able to continue. And, I mean, after him right now, they really don't have a running back they can count on in a big-time way, except for Klubnik. Klubnik is their running game now. He's their passing game and the running game. The strength of this team, and this is no great enlightenment here, is Klubnik and those receivers. The one thing they can say is those 3 receivers, Williams, Wesco, and Moore, they've emerged as a very dangerous trio, especially in space. And Wesco can really do a good job getting down the field. Oh, and I should mention Brenningstool. Don't forget him at tight end. So they really have 4 dangerous receivers, and that's where they're going to have to go with the football if they're going to have any chance at Texas in a couple of weeks. So they find a way. They got it done. He was asked after the game, Rhett Lashley was asked about, of course, going for 2 versus overtime. He said, no. He said he was confident they would win it in overtime because of the way they were playing.
I think he's right.
Yeah. They had the momentum, no sense risking losing the game on one play, take it into overtime, feel like that you could score, and then your defense could get a stop. But it didn't get to that point. And if
they had gone for 2, Phil, as it turned out, they would have still lost.
Well, if everything else would have followed in form. Yeah, if everything else would have followed in form. All right, so here's the other thing, too, though. I mean, the beauty of making the playoffs is this. Besides the fact you get a chance to play, in the playoffs and maybe get to the national championship, you got 2 weeks of nothing but love from ESPN because they own the playoffs and thus they own the playoff teams. And they're going to get all kind of exclusive content. They're going to get all kind of one-on-one opportunities with the teams, including Clemson. You can't buy the kind of publicity as a playoff team that you're going to get over the next couple of weeks.
Right.
If you stay in the playoffs for an extended period, I mean, I've seen it up close. I've seen it back when it was 4 teams and the amount of publicity because they promote this thing for weeks. Well, they've already, of course, started promoting the first-round games, and that will only intensify if you stay in the playoffs long enough. So for those who make the playoffs, you get that additional benefit of millions of dollars of television time or millions of dollars worth of your name being mentioned on television or on social media that you ordinarily would not get, along with the extra practice sessions and all that. It is such a bonus. Meantime, South Carolina, it's the question I asked Shane Beamer last week. How you going to feel? How you going to feel having beaten Clemson, yet they get a chance to play for the national championship? And they've got to be beaten. Well, no longer. I'm sure they're past it now, but they had to be beating their heads against the wall. It's like, what do we have to do to complete the takeover? They haven't completed the takeover. They might have caught up with Clemson head to head. But when you're not the team going to the playoffs and your rival is, that sets you back a little bit, in my opinion.
Well, and I think you're right, Phil. And the perfect analogy I can give to illustrate your point is I was listening to the game on the way back here to Florence from Rock Hill, and I called Don Munson's call at the end. And when that kick went through, he didn't say the kick to win the ACC championship. He said the kick to put us in the playoffs. And that's basically where we are. Nothing else matters. Clemson won the ACC championship. Okay, so what? We're going to the playoffs. Oh, yeah, that's great. That's all we care about. And I think his call of that sort of sums it up. Yeah, we don't care about conference championships anymore if it's not attached to the playoffs. And now we're going to the playoffs. That's why conference championships are so important. So South Carolina can beat its chest, had a better season. I think if you break it down, Clemson's 9-3 season against South Carolina's 9-3 regular season, Gamecocks much better. They won the head-to-head game. But who's going to ultimately look back and say this was a better year? And it's got to be Clemson because they found a way to get into the playoffs, and we've become the NFL in college football where nothing else matters. We've become college basketball where nothing else matters during the regular season except getting into the tournament. Now nothing else matters except getting into the playoffs.
Yeah, and now, of course, you're not crowning the best team in college football. You're crowning the best team in the playoffs. That's what a playoff is. That's what a tournament format is. So but that doesn't matter. I mean, whoever gets the trophy is going to be recognized as the national champion. Our poll question of the week, presented by Larry Lucas, State Farm Insurance. Give Larry a call, 803-799-1998. Have all your insurance questions answered by Larry and his great staff. Clemson is in the college football playoff for a 7th time. The Tigers have won it all twice, not counting the one that Danny Ford won. I'm talking about during the CFP era. How far will they go this time? How far will the Tigers go this time? First round, quarterfinals, semifinals, or championship game? And by this, I mean, like, yes, they're in the first round, but I mean, is that going to be it? Quarterfinals, is that going to be it? Etc. So far, in early voting, you've got 53.8% say the Tigers will make it just to the first round, 23% quarterfinals, 15.4% say the championship game, and 7.7% have them reaching the semifinals. I don't know. I picked SMU to beat them this past Saturday, and so they proved us wrong. They're big underdogs here. They're 11-point underdogs going to Texas. So, I mean, not picking against the spread here, just picking straight up, just thinking, can they win this game and move on? I mean, I think you got to go with Texas here. You got to go with the home team as things stand at this point. Texas, of course, 2 losses, but both of them to Georgia. Speaking of Georgia, so now it looks like Carson Beck has an elbow injury that's going to keep him out of the playoffs. Funny how this information did not come out until sometime today. And, of course, going back to the Florida State situation, Jordan Travis got hurt during the season, so you couldn't hide that. Georgia did a pretty good job of keeping that quiet, didn't they?
I thought so. But, you know, if you're going to compare the two situations, the one that's ultimately different, and first off, credit to Georgia. How many college football teams do you know that have ever won back-to-back overtime games?
Yeah.
I'm not sure I've ever heard that happen. One goes 8 overtimes, one just goes the 1. But still, to be able to beat Texas twice is a pretty impressive feat by them. But I think the only difference, Phil, is now you have the automatic berth into the playoffs. I don't think the committee could have left them out, treating them the same way they did Florida State since they're the SEC champions, right?
Well, yeah, because Florida State was the ACC champion.
Yeah, but there wasn't a guarantee in the 14 playoff.
No, that's true. That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. Yeah, that's a good point. That's an excellent point. That's right. That wasn't a selection. That was an automatic thing. Yeah. Would you – and, of course, had they lost, of course, people already had them in even with a loss in the championship
Well, Joe
game.
Tessitore did. I don't know how many other people did with a loss. And I thought Joey Galloway yesterday, I don't know how much you got to see because I know you didn't get back till probably, 6 a.m. yesterday morning from Clemson. But I thought he was the only one that had any common sense on that panel when they were talking about whether or not SMU should have made the playoffs. And this was before the announcement. And they kept talking about should they be penalized. And Joey said, no, they shouldn't be penalized. They should be treated as a loss. And he's the only one that kept saying, look, SMU lost a game, championship game or not, and it should be part of their resume. And I agree with him. This notion that you shouldn't be penalized because you made a conference championship game is ridiculous because you're going to benefit if you win it. Look at Clemson. If Clemson loses, they're not in the playoffs. They benefited from winning the ACC championship. I think you also should be dinged, if you will. And when you're reviewing everything that happened, I'm not saying they made the wrong choice. I think SMU probably did play well enough all season long to earn their right in over a 3-loss Alabama team. I was surprised, though, that the committee did not put Alabama in over them, just namesake alone. But from a standpoint that SMU should not get penalized because they played in the championship game, that's ridiculous.
It's a good argument. I mean, that's the problem with the whole deal. There's good arguments both ways.
Mm-hmm.
There's just no clear-cut way to put people in an at-large way without having arguments about it. But then again, that's what's driven college football to its popularity, I would say.
Indeed.
All right, we'll be right back and get to your phone calls.
I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus. Whether it's becoming a teacher, dentist, or engineer, every child deserves the chance to chase their dreams. Investing in a child's education with Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 College Savings Plan, can help turn those big dreams into next steps. So don't wait. You can start with any amount. Contributions are tax deductible and earnings grow tax-free. Discover the smart, easy way to save for college at futurescholar.com.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hostetler-Brown. Helping an aging loved one arrange for their care can be one of the most difficult things you will ever do. Fortunately, you don't have to navigate this maze alone. Lawyer Lisa's knowledgeable life care team can lead you down the right path. Visit lawyerlisa.com to see how we can help.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
Touchstone Energy cooperative members save more on electricity, and members save more on insurance, groceries, healthcare, restaurants, travel, concerts, and sporting events through Co-op Connections. Touchstone Energy is an alliance of the member-owned electric cooperatives, and as a member, the power is yours. Experience the power of co-op membership with Touchstone Energy and find out how much you can save on electricity and a whole lot more at touchstoneenergy.com.
Down in London town to go-go. Oh, with the record selection and the mirror's reflection, I'm a dancing with myself.
All right, today the portal opened up. A lot of people jumping in. More Gamecocks, more Tigers. We'll go over that in a little bit. We'll have recruiting for you. Bob Eibach at 6:35, our buddy from Chicago. Yep, he's got something for you related to Clemson and the playoffs. Stay tuned for that. David Shelton at 7:05 will preview the 1A state championship game. Is championship week, South Carolina. Zach Willis, 7:35, 1st and 10. And some short comments from Dabo Sweeney and Shane Beamer on a couple of issues that were present for both of them coming off the weekend. But we jump to your phone calls, 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number for you. Right here on Sports Talk. We go 90 seconds. 90 seconds. We're being generous since this is really kind of a Clemson night, not a Gamecock night. But 90 seconds with Gamecock Larry. Hello, Gamecock Larry. How you feeling, man?
I feel okay. I ain't going to take 90 seconds. I'm just going to say Clemson is the luckiest team there is. But they will not get out of Texas without a 17-point loss. They're going to lose by 17. I don't think SMU should be in the playoffs. I don't think Indiana should be in the playoffs. And you know what? I really believe Georgia going to pull this thing out. They lucky too. But I tell you, and I got to pull Tennessee and Ohio State. I ain't gonna pull for either one of them. I don't pull for nothing on it. I want to let one of them 100.7. Do I love y'all? I'm home, and I'm just going to take it easy and rest and do what the doctors and nurses and all of them say. I love all y'all, and go Gamecocks.
All right.
Talk to you later.
Thank you, Larry. Glad you're home. That's good. That's good. And, yeah, rest up, take your medicine, listen to those doctors, chase those nurses. You'll be just fine. Be just fine. Let's go to Todd in Woodruff. Next with us here on Sports Talk. Hello, Todd. Welcome in. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, Phil. I feel like I'll be safe enough to ask you this question here, because my alma mater has made it to the Weekend of Champions at Somerville, and if I mention when I mention that up here to people in Spartanburg and Gaffney, it riles them up, and they just don't like Somerville. I don't know why, but that's just the way it is. And but we made it, and the gentleman that calls in from Sumter gives you the report, says that Sumter was the best team, but we showed them Friday night who really is. But I had a question for you. I heard maybe that there was going to be a televised game. There's games are going to be televised, and if so, how could I catch them?
They are being televised. They are on a. See if I can pull up this information for you. There's a network of stations in South Carolina that will be televising the game. That's why we've got these 06 kickoff times.
Mm-hmm. His would probably be Phil WMYA My 40 up in the Asheville, Greenville area.
Okay.
That's the Sinclair Broadcasting. If you get a local high school game during the regular season, whatever channel that's carrying those games is probably the same one that's carrying these.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So just check your TV dial. What'd you say, Chris? Right. Channel 40?
Channel 40. Yeah. My 40 in the Asheville, Greenville area. I'm not sure what the cable channel or direct TV on all that stuff is. I don't know what the number would be. But if, like I said, if you've got high school regular season games on television up that way, it'll be the same channel, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be the same channel. Okay, I sure do appreciate it. Maybe we can solve this riddle of Dutch Fork, well coached. But that Somerville team right there is fantastic, man. And I think that this is going to be the year.
Well, it's been a little while for Somerville. It's been a little while since they were in the state championship game. But, man, you're talking about a tough one when it comes to Dutch Fork, no question about it. I think Coach Knotts is going for his – is it his 10th state championship?
Wow.
Ninth in South Carolina. Okay. And Coach McKissick and Coach Varner, I believe, have 10 each, right? I think they had 10 each.
I think so. There was some question as to whether McKissick had 11, but I don't know.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you very much. Great hearing from you.
All right.
Enjoy the games.
I just want to applaud the South Carolina High School League and its infinite wisdom for putting a game like Dutch Fork and Somerville that may have 45,000 people want to show up on a Friday afternoon at 2 p.m. What are we doing? Why are we playing state championship games in the middle of the week in the afternoon? Clinton Barnwell the same way. That'll be a huge turnout. Let's play it Thursday at 2. Aren't these kids supposed to be in school?
Well, look,
I realize colleges have gone away from, worrying about academics, but I thought at least high school still cared.
Yeah, but I think, we can give them a little time off for a state championship game. But I'm with you now. I don't.
What are we doing?
I don't like
Phil?
the mid-afternoon kickoff time myself.
No.
And I don't like. It should be at Williams-Brice in Columbia. That's the central location. It's big enough to handle everything. Part of the concern is, from what I'm told, with these times and everything, is about parking and getting cars in for one game and then out, and cars in for the next game, et cetera, et cetera. Well, when you have a tight parking situation, that's what you're going to have. I don't think you'd have that situation quite as badly by having it in Columbia. I know the money situation is a concern there, but let state government pay for it. We'll be back.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Cloudy with a low temperature overnight of 56. Tomorrow we're mostly cloudy. Scattered showers were warmer with a high of 69. And on Wednesday, heavy rain expected, especially early on. We do clear out, and Thursday through the weekend looking much nicer. Sunshine and highs in the 50s. I'm Tal Moss with your On Point local weather.
If you step onto H&J Cattle Company's farm, you'll find third-generation farmers upholding the legacy. They embrace sustainability and take immense pride in their craft, raising cattle purely on nature's offerings, without growth hormones, antibiotics, or animal byproducts. The result? Unmatched quality beef that's not just good, it's the best in South Carolina. Experience the distinct flavor of our finest registered Hereford and Wagyu beef. Visit us online at hdjcattle.co or on Instagram and Facebook at H&J Cattle CO.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters reporting police have arrested a 26-year-old man in connection to last week's brazen Manhattan killing of United Healthcare's CEO. Luigi Nicholas Mangione was arrested Monday after a McDonald's employee in Pennsylvania alerted authorities. Police say Mangione was found with a gun believed to be the one used in Wednesday's ambush on Brian Thompson, along with writings expressing anger at corporate America. Southern California's notorious Santa Ana winds are predicted to return. Utilities say they're prepared to cut power to hundreds of thousands of customers in areas where strong gusts could damage electrical equipment and spark wildfires. The National Weather Service has issued a rare, particularly dangerous situation. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 240 points. More details at srnnews.com.
Last year's RV trip, we met a couple.
You don't normally call a plumber until you need a plumber. Well, if you need one today or if you need one tomorrow, I want you to remember Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. Listen, I might not know all the tricks to turning a wrench, but I do know how a plumbing company should work and how to treat people. My dad was a plumber. My grandfather was a plumber, and so were three of my uncles. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning does it right. They are the epitome of customer service. They're locally owned and operated, and Josh and his team, well, they put customer service as the top priority for Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. I've never known a business owner more intent on making it a great experience for people. And let's face it, when you have a plumbing crisis, well, that could be traumatic. They specialize in service and replacement issues for your home or for your business. They've been to my home and fixed 3 different plumbing issues I had in the house. If you need them, they're there to help. Online at franklinplumbing.sc.com or call Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning 799-2222. That's 799-2222. And tell them Kev sent you from The Point.
Looking for a true wow, really, are you serious Christmas gift? I'm Jack Oliver, and we have it. A soothing, therapeutic hot spring spa from Jack Oliver's Pool Spa and Patio. Imagine getting that someone special or the family their very own hot spring spa for Christmas, then enjoying it together for years to come. We have Finleo saunas, beautiful patio furniture, and top quality grills too at Jack Oliver's Pool Spa and Patio, 3303 Forest Drive at jackoliverpools.com.
As we celebrate 10 fantastic years at Sweet Comfort Services, we're cooling you off with unbeatable deals on all SEER 2 and high-efficiency AC equipment. Hey, Point family, mention this ad and get a thorough spring maintenance check from our expert non-commissioned techs for just $95 for your first system and a chill $45 each additional system. Look us up at sweethvac.com or call us at 331-8143. Celebrating a decade of keeping you cool and comfy. That's the Sweet Comfort promise.
Pardon me, ma'am. Are you interested in lowering your energy usage and saving money?
Make it quick.
Did you know that Dominion Energy offers heating and cooling rebates up to $750?
That's a lot of money.
Yes, it is. And it comes in handy if your system fails and you need a replacement.
Any restrictions?
For starters, your new equipment must be Energy Star qualified.
That's a good thing.
Go to DominionEnergySC.com and click Save Energy.
DominionEnergySC.com it is. Thanks for the tip.
Certain restrictions apply.
It's the best time of the year. December 14th, it's Parade Day and the Holiday Parade of Lights, proudly presented by Lexington Medical Center and a Greater Casey West Columbia Chamber. The North Pole is open from noon to 4. Enjoy the unique art, the tasty food, and great shopping. And then come out and line the streets. The parade begins at 5:30. Everybody loves a parade. For more information, go to visitcwcsc.com.
We are back on Sports Talk. It's a manic Monday on this Monday. Coming off the weekend. That was quite the weekend with everything going on. Championship games, college football selection, college football playoff selections, bowl selections, and now college football. This has got to be, in some ways, a pain to college basketball because college football will continue to dominate the conversation into mid-January. Championship games not till January 20th. And then all of a sudden, it's basketball season now. And they'll be, a quarter of the way through their league play by then in most leagues. So if you are a football-centric area or a football-centric person, hey, you like it. You like the fact that college football stays on your mind for several weeks to come. All right, phone number 888.
Because Gamecocks and the Tigers both had nice wins on Saturday, especially Clemson on the road at Miami. That's a solid victory for them, backing up the win over Kentucky earlier in the week.
And the Tigers break into the AP ranking this week at number 16. Yep. USC women stay at number 3. We'll give you some more basketball stuff coming up. There's so much to do. Want to mention phone number 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number for you here on Sports Talk. And, of course, while it might be a little bit chilly, a little bit rainy out there, it was a little bit warmer today. You'll be thinking about summertime and summertime vacation before you know it, because once we hit the new year, after you make it through the holidays, what's the first thing on your mind? What am I going to do for vacation? Well, first thing you're going to do is call Jimmy Smith at James Smith Real Estate down in Litchfield and Pauley's and let them work with you to find a great location for your vacation. 843-237-4246. That's 843-237-4246. Or, if you're a little more handsy and want to be online, Pauley'sVacationRentals.com. Jimmy and the staff will take your information and help you find exactly what you're looking for from a size standpoint and a budget standpoint. If you want to buy property at the beach, well, they can help you out there as well. So give Jimmy Smith a call, 843-237-4246, or online at Pauley'sVacationRentals.com. All right, back to your calls in just a moment. But always good to hear from Bob Eibach, our buddy from Chicago, because when Bob calls us, that means two things. A, one of our teams is doing something big, and B, he's got something for you to commemorate that big moment. And we welcome Bob Eibach once again to Sports Talk. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Hey, Phil, it's always a pleasure to be with you, and hello to Chris and to Josh as well. And I know we talked earlier in the day, and, I've been in, covering sports for many, many years. I was with the Chicago Cubs for almost 10 seasons as their PR director, but before that I covered a lot of college football for the Baltimore Sun and the Washington Post. And I had to laugh a little bit because, everybody was calling in the last few years about the college football playoffs when they only had 4 teams eligible. And they said, we'll get 12 going in here and there won't be any controversy.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, really, right? Well, I've got something I know for Clemson Tiger fans that you're going to want to get yourselves a hold of. And with the Christmas season and the holiday season coming right up, this is, I think, one of the nicest presents you could give to that Tigers fan, because it salutes them being one of the 12 teams in the college football playoffs coming up. They got that big game. They'll go down to Texas and face the Longhorns down there. That'll be a real good test. This football that I'll be describing is a limited edition. Only 5,000 of them will ever be made. It's a full-size football. It's priced at just $119.95, and you'll get an individually numbered certificate of authenticity with each football. Now, before I give out a toll-free number and a website how you can get these, I want to point out I got a chance to see a prototype of the ball today, and it is something that Nyco Sports really has never done anything quite like this, because on the panel the top panel there will list all 12 teams, including Clemson, and their rankings in the bracket format right there. So you'll see how everything is going to be playing out during this special first time ever, the college football playoffs in having 12 teams. The panel right below that will have full color logos of each of the 12 teams in the playoffs, along with their season records, any conference championships if that applies. The third panel has a full color bowl logos for the 6 bowls that will be hosting the playoffs after the first round and quarterfinals. And then the last one is a gold pebbled panel with this official CFP logo on either side of that panel. So it is something that when you do something for the first time, history, commemoratives like this will never happen again. It'll be the first time ever. This will appreciate in value over the years. And trust me, I've had a chance to see a lot of the things that Nyco Sports has produced. This is one of the finest footballs you'll ever see. Only 5,000 will ever be made, but you better do it pretty quick because we're not only going to be on in the South Carolina area, but starting tomorrow, we're going to be going into some of the other markets around the country that are comprised of the other 11 teams. So here's how you can go ahead and order these. We have a toll-free number and a website, so I would jump on this quick. Your guys are the first station to hear about this, by the way. So it's 800-345-2868. That's 1-800-345-2868. Or just go to the website. You'll see everything there at NICOsports.com, NIKCO sports.com. That's NIKCO sports.com. And Phil and Chris and Josh, when you go to that website, you can download a special holiday gift card. So it's just like getting a gift card for the Christmas season. Put that under the tree, put it in a stocking stuffer, and then let that person know that they'll be getting this football not that long after.
Fantastic. But you need to move quickly, and like you said, only 5,000.
Yeah.
And with 12 teams involved and hundreds of thousands, millions of fans among those 12 teams, man, you're going to have to move pretty quick.
You are, and for $119.95 in this economy right now, that's a bargain. And it's, again, fully licensed. Everything has been approved, and like you'll get that numbered certificate of authenticity. I know I'm going to get a couple because I love Clemson football, and I've been a big fan of Dabo's over the years. And I think a lot of people, I don't give them any Alabama fans because they're not too happy with the Tiger fans right now.
Yeah,
because it was the Tigers allowing, I don't know if I should use the word allowing, but SMU coming back into that game and forcing Clemson to win it on at the last minute on a 34-31 win. When they jumped off of that 21-0 lead, and then it was 21-7, I thought, well, this game is over. And had it been a blowout, Alabama would have been included in the top 12 teams.
Well, we look forward to getting these out to the people, and I'm glad you're sharing the message, and we'll hear from you later on in the week and see what we can do to get these into the right hands.
Okay. Hey, Phil, it's always a pleasure working with you guys, and you guys do a great job when I'm down your way. I tune in. Keep up the good work, and we'll catch you a little bit later in the week.
Thank you, Bob. Great hearing from
Bob.
you.
Bye-bye now.
All right, Bob Iback, longtime friend of Sports Talk, and as he mentioned, 10 years with the Cubs, and he's worked in college, and he played a little basketball at Maryland, and he wrote the book Caught in the Net on Tate's Lock with Tree Rollins. He was telling me some more behind-the-scenes stories on that deal today, back in the day when the Tigers were a little bit, shall we say, shady in their basketball operations. In those days when those things were shady, today it'd all be acceptable, but back in the 70s, not so much. All right, phone number 888-898-2525. A lot of folks are waiting, so let's continue on the phone lines here for a few minutes. It's Bruce in Missouri up with us next. And Bruce, welcome into Sports Talk. How you doing?
Well, thank you, Phil, for taking my call tonight.
Yes, sir.
I got two different situations going. hats off to Abbeville Panthers getting the playoff and win to get to the state championship. And I'm wondering when they're going to move Abbeville up in the sections of different teams, like 3A or 2A now, whatever.
Well, they're going to be 1A for at least one more season because they reclassify every 2 years. So,
well, I understand, but I'm just saying there's not any competition with them in 1A anyway. Another thing.
Not much competition for them in any division they've been in, to be honest with you. But go ahead.
Right, yeah.
That's so
anyway,
true.
Public. Now, I told you about my incident. I watched the Under Armour ball game with Public quarterback in the first quarter. And they had four quarterbacks to show in each quarter. They changed out. So they played the second guy the first quarter, and the halftime came out. They put the other two in the third quarter and put Clublet out in the back of the fourth quarter to finish the game because they wanted to watch him play. And this is what I see right now from him. In the second half, he goes down 3 or 4 notches with his passing. And he just, at the end of the game, Carolina game, he blew it with that last pass. They need to take him out maybe 1 quarter or half a quarter on the third quarter and then put him back in to get him centered again, being out of the game. Just kind of observe it from the outside in. You know what I'm saying?
You kind of feel like he loses. You kind of feel like he loses focus.
Yes, right. Because he did the same thing in the fourth quarter at the the special game they had, Under Armour game. He was as good as he did the first quarter when they put him in to watch him play, because they wanted to see more of what he did in the first quarter, and he didn't miss a beat. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think they need to take him out, let him align himself, because the second half is just disaster with him.
All right.
Especially with his passing.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate that. In the game against SMU, he got off to a hot start. He hit 8 of his first 10, 11 of 16. Then he cooled off and hit only 1 of his next 7. So then he got hot once again and completed 9 of his next 11. So hot and cold. That's kind of how it's been with him. I don't know, when he goes through those stretches of missed passes, and I don't think, as I recall, Chris, I don't think they had too many drops in the game. I think maybe he just, you're going to miss some passes. Obviously, you're not going to hit every one of them.
Sure.
But with no passing game, with no running game right now to speak of, they've got to lean heavily on the passing game. So you're going to have those ups and downs. You're going to have to give credit sometimes to the secondary for making plays, for the pass rush, for forcing you into bad passes. But it was one of those nights for Clemson where they did not have any turnovers. They did have 2 fumbles, but they were able to get both of them back, unlike SMU, which, of course, had a couple of turnovers. So, things kind of bounced their way. But I hear what you're saying. I don't know that they can afford to take him out of a game for any extended period, because who are you going to play?
Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, Klubnik this season has thrown 443 passes. Christopher Vizina's thrown 34.
Mm-hmm.
So, but, Bruce may not be that far off. It's an interesting question. It won't happen because you're right. They just don't have anybody else they can trust. But Clemson's been outscored in the fourth quarter, 130-76 this year.
Eesh.
They've outscored their opponents in every other quarter but the fourth. Now, of course, the Gamecocks and SMU had a lot to do with that the past couple of ball games, but still, it sort of speaks to at least something Bruce is seeing. Maybe not just all on Klubnik. Maybe the entire team loses focus into the fourth quarter.
Yeah. For SMU, Keith Jennings was really good, and got better towards the end. He hit on 19 of his last 21, and really helped. And they play so fast. they're about as fast as anybody out there in their offense, about as fast as Tennessee, maybe even faster than Tennessee as far as getting to the line and running a play and speed throughout that lineup. But Clemson was able to build enough of a lead. The turnovers and the big passing plays by Clemson, that combined to let them build a lead to where they could, well, hang on, basically, is what they did. And they got tied up, and then they had the break of the return on the kickoff that set them up, and the great pass and catch and the kick, and that's what made the difference. Be right back.
Farm Bureau insurance agents live and work right in our community. They're not at the end of some 1-800 number thousands of miles away. The personalized attention, competitive rates, and a reputation for fast, fair claim service sets Farm Bureau insurance apart from the competition. For your auto, home, and life insurance needs, trust Farm Bureau Insurance. In Clinton and Lawrence, give Buddy Bridges a call at 864-984-0413 or stop by the office at 726 East Main Street in Lawrence to see how local makes a difference.
The lottery is not about getting rich. It's about helping people, and it always has been. The lottery is what helped raise the Great Wall of China, build the roads of Rome, and today in South Carolina, it's what generates millions of dollars each year for scholarships like the SC Hope, Life, and Palmetto Fellows. The South Carolina Education Lottery is investing in you. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou to learn more.
Touchstone Energy cooperative members save more on electricity, and members save more on insurance, groceries, healthcare, restaurants, travel, concerts, and sporting events through co-op connections. Touchstone Energy is an alliance of the member-owned electric cooperatives, and as a member, the power is yours. Experience the power of co-op membership with Touchstone Energy and find out how much you can save on electricity and a whole lot more at touchstoneenergy.com.
George Bryant here for Tsunami Bar Sports, and some say the fun is in the winning. I say the fun is in the training. And Tsunami Robbie, what do you say?
George, we all know you get more done when you're having fun. This technology is different, it's engaging, but it's also a lot of fun to use.
Hi, this is Phil Kornblut. Be sure to click on the digital ad on SportsTalkSC.com and get 5% off any Tsunami Bar order using promo code BBB5. Don't wait, order today. Actually, Sunday is a manic day. Yesterday was like 2 work days with everything going on and all the Zoom calls and all the press conferences. We had it all covered on our website. I want to remind you to go to our website, SportsTalkSC.com. We've added a bunch of stuff there, so and it's free. Everything we do is free, F-R-E-E, the best 4-letter word in the English language. And if you haven't jumped on our new X account, because our original was hacked, so we're having to rebuild from the ground up. Our new X account, make sure you give us a follow if you're into Xing, at Sports Talk Posts with an S. At Sports Talk Posts with an S. Keep in mind, you don't tweet anymore. You post. X is post. Twitter is so 2010, 2015. These are the 2020s. So you're posting, you're not tweeting anymore. So get with it. Get with the right terminology. 4 finalists for the Heisman. I got my vote in this afternoon. Today was the last day to vote. I always wait till after the championship games. And I am under sworn promise not to reveal the vote. So the 4 finalists, Dylan Gabriel, Travis Hunter, Ashton Jeanty, and Cam Ward.
Isn't it Jeanty?
Ashton Jeanty and Cam Ward.
Right. Yeah.
I can say I voted for 3 of those, and I'll leave it at that. All right, phone number.
You vote first, second, third? Is that how it works?
Yeah, you vote first, second, third. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, then why not just have 3 finalists then?
I don't know. You ask the Heisman
You're inviting
Trust.
somebody up there that has no chance.
Ask the Heisman.
I guess everybody could vote for different people.
Well, exactly. All four got votes, obviously.
They must have gotten enough votes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. All right, phone number 888-898-2525. And back to the phones we go. And we go to Hank in Columbia. Hank, welcome into Sports Talk. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, Corn.
Sir.
I was calling, just listening to y'all talk about the high schools and the teams that play at 2 o'clock. And one of the things with it being a former principal is that I think for one of the districts, a couple of the districts, they already have an e-learning day, which most of the kids are done with their e-learning work by 11. And then I think the other district just switched a staff development day, or half day from teachers from May. So I don't think it's really going to cut into the school as much. But it's important to take the best facility. And, a lot of people like to say, well, yeah, we should have them all at Williams-Brice. But the prices that they were charging at Williams-Brice, I actually sat on the committee that helped pick the facilities for state championships before when I was with the high school league. And the thing that they're trying to do is trying to keep the expenses to an avenue where they're able to get back to the schools. When I was president of one of the classes, I won't say this class, but I was president of one of the classes one year. We had kids coming for state championship basketball games. And, sometimes they'll come down and you might have Mullins girls and Mullins boys in the championship back-to-back. Well, that year, once they cleared the expenses, every team that played in the basketball championship got like $12,000. So a little school like Mullins, I think that year HKT had boys and girls. So their school ended up, win or lose, taking back home $24,000. And when you have your smaller schools and these athletic budgets that have to help out spring sports, it means a lot. So that's one of the big reasons.
Let me ask you, I get that. Why is this not important enough for state government to do something to help out, to help funding? I mean, everything is covered here is owned by state government. We're talking state high schools, we're talking state high school league, we're talking state universities. Why can't state government, because they've said they've had what's the word I'm looking for? They've got money. They've had money, billions of dollars or hundreds of millions of dollars. My point is, why can't they do something here to ensure that this is done at Williams-Brice? Williams-Brice can handle 3 or 4 games on a week. They should be playing these on Fridays and Saturdays. Since you've got 6 championships, we should play 2 on Friday and 4 on Saturday, all at Williams-Brice. Done it before, can do it again.
Yeah,
and the kids get.
The league would like the league would like to do both. The league would like that for football, and the league would like that for basketball.
Okay, well, why can't state government step in and help out?
Well, the issue you have there though is one, we got to get the legislature and all that to agree to that.
Why would anybody in the legislature disagree to that?
Well, some schools historically don't have many of any teams make it to the state championship, so they're not going to be inclined to give those dollars that way. And then the other thing is, when you start with athletics, then you if they go to that mode with athletics, what you'll probably get is you have band, art, ROTC. You have a slew of other functions that take place where they have to do the same thing as far as securing a spot, paying for a spot, or whatever.
But I hear you, and we got to go.
They're not going to do it.
None of those would attract 25,000 people to come watch them do it. And thank you very much. I mean, Dutch Fork and Somerville playing in Columbia would probably attract, a huge.
I think 40,000 people would be there.
Well, I don't know about
really
that, but at night at Williams-Brice, I think that'd attract a huge crowd. I'll be right back.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters reporting. A person of interest has been arrested in the United Healthcare CEO killing in New York City.
We believe we have a strong person of interest.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams at a news conference. Officials say police have arrested a 26-year-old man with a weapon consistent with the gun used in the killing of the United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Thompson died in an ambush as he walked from his hotel to the company's annual investor conference across the street. NYPD Chief of Detectives Joseph Kenny described the suspect.
He has been identified as Luigi Nicholas Mangione. He's a male, 26 years old. He was born and raised in Maryland, and his last known address was Honolulu, Hawaii.
Mangione was taken into custody after police got a tip that he had been spotted at a McDonald's in Pennsylvania. I'm Haya Panjwani.
Gas prices continue to fall. Correspondent Rita Foley reports.
If you're planning holiday travel, you'll be happy to hear this. Gas prices have been going down, says the AAA. The national average is $3.01 a gallon today, down 3 cents in a week, down about 8 cents in a month. And a year ago, gas was $3.16 a gallon, about 15 cents more than it is now. AAA says the highest prices are on the West Coast. If you're traveling in California, you'll pay about $4.36 a gallon on average. Texas is among the places with the cheapest gas. It's $2.60 a gallon there. I'm Rita Foley.
United States and Guatemalan authorities have announced the arrest of 6 people charged with human smuggling linked to a semi-trailer truck crash in Mexico in 2021 that killed more than 50 migrants. The people were arrested in Guatemala and Texas. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 240 points. The Nasdaq dropped 123. The S&P lower by 37. More at townhall.com.
So you just grin and bear it or bite the bullet when it comes to everyday pain? Don't. Try Relief Factor, a drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. It's 100% drug-free, it's developed by doctors. In 3 weeks or less, you'll know whether it works for you like it works for me. Try Relief Factor for yourself. Go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
Hi, Mom. Surprise, I brought you something.
Socks. Oh, Heat Holders Original.
I use them for snow sports and around the farm. I also bought a bunch for my new work site.
I know what everyone is getting for gifts this holiday.
Heat Holders socks are the warmest. We use a proprietary 3-stage process, making Heat Holders the softest, warmest, and most comfortable socks guaranteed. We also have hats, gloves, throws, and so much more. Go to heatholders.com. Use the code HEAT to save 15% off your order. Free shipping for orders over $25. Heatholders.com.
President-elect Trump's daughter-in-law, Lara Trump, has taken what may be the next step toward a new career as a U.S. Senator. Bob Agnew reports.
Trump announced on Sunday via X she's leaving her position as co-chair of the Republican National Committee. She called it the honor of her life to have served atop the RNC during what she called the most consequential election in American history. It's been widely speculated Florida Governor Ron DeSantis may appoint Lara Trump to replace Senator Marco Rubio if he's confirmed as Secretary of State. Bob Agnew reporting.
TikTok on Monday asked a federal appeals court to bar the Biden administration from enforcing a law that could lead to a ban on the popular platform until the Supreme Court reviews the case. The legal filing was made after a panel of judges on the same court sided with the government last week. The law requires TikTok to divest itself from its China-based parent company. News and analysis at townhall.com.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Cloudy with a low temperature overnight of 56. Tomorrow we're mostly cloudy. Scattered showers were warmer with a high of 69. And on Wednesday, heavy rain expected, especially early on. We do clear out, and Thursday through the weekend looking much nicer. Sunshine and highs in the 50s. I'm Tal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Okay, we continue on this manic Monday night from here in Columbia. It is Phil Kornblut and Josh Cohen here, and from the Berge Palace in Sardis, we have Chris Bergen. More of your phone calls coming up in just a moment. It is state championship week, finally, here in South Carolina, so let's begin our previews of the state championship games tonight, and we'll look at that 1A state championship game between Abbeville and Cross. And for that, we welcome in the man we know as best in the business from the Charleston Post and Courier, the high school sports report. That is online at hssr.com. He is David Shelton. Welcome in, David. How are you, sir?
Thank you. I'm okay.
Good. Great to have you back with us after a long Friday night. Okay, 1A. So do we just hand the crown to Abbeville, or will Cross have something to say about this?
No, I think Abbeville is the favorite. I think most people expect them to win, but I think Cross plays good enough defense. They have a handful of really, really talented athletes that play on both sides of the ball that do a lot for them. They've only given up 2 touchdowns in the last 7 weeks, and they've got 7 shutouts. So they get after it pretty good on defense, but trying to stop that Abbeville offense is a whole different chore. Abbeville is very adept at running the football. Both teams will run the football. Both teams throw it enough to keep you honest, and if Abbeville throws it over the middle, they could be in trouble because Caden Ramsey is a 6'4" junior safety at Cross that's got 13 interceptions.
Ooh.
And he's run a couple of them back for touchdown, ran one back 100 yards against Lakeview Friday night. So, if it all plays out like expected, Abbeville will win the game. But I definitely give Cross a shot. I mean, they've to beat Lakeview like they beat Lakeview the other night. That tells me they're pretty solid.
The offense for Abbeville, yeah, I know it is. You got DeMarcus Leach, who's an SEC level football player going to South Carolina as a safety, but obviously he plays both ways and does things on offense. How much is he featured on offense? How much of their offense is built around the running game?
Well, 90% of their offense is the running game, and he plays quarterback, and he will run the football out of that offense. Carson Norman is a tailback that gets a lot of carries and is very explosive. He's a track guy that can really run, and they got a big fullback. That's what Abbeville does. They're gonna run the football, but Leach does give them a little bit of a threat in the passing game. They have pretty good receivers, but they're not gonna come out air Abbeville. It's gonna be the A-bone, and they're gonna do what they do, and if that's not enough, then they'll tip their hat and move on. But that's what they're gonna do.
And defensively for Cross, you mentioned the safety. But up front, if they're going to do anything with that A-bone, they're going to have to try to control the line of scrimmage. Can they do that against that Abbeville offensive line?
Yeah, that's the big question. I mean, they have done it against everybody else. They lost basically their entire offensive and defensive lines from last year, and these are all plug-in guys, new guys, and they played exceptionally well. There's decent size. They're quick. They're physical. They're very physical on defense. They seem to, when you watch them, they enjoy playing defense. Like you can tell it's like this is fun. But that's going to be the thing. If Abbeville struggles to block them, and Cross can create some havoc in the backfield, get to the guys before they get going, it'll benefit Cross. But, games are won when two teams run the football the way these two teams run the football. The games are won in the trenches. So whoever excels on the line play is probably going to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
Championship game on Thursday at 7:30. It's Cross and Abbeville, both 1 seeds heading into a play on a Thursday. And David, you talked about Cross's defense. This is a unit that's allowed just 14 points the entire playoffs. Is it that physicality? Is it scheme? Is it talent? What makes their defense so difficult to score on?
Well, they are physical. They will hit you. They're not afraid of contact. Their linebackers are very active. They create a lot of turnovers. I think they probably created 3 or 4 against Lakeview the other night. They've done that all year. They just created a lot of turnovers. And, some of that is on the other team, not protecting the football. But, when you're causing fumbles, it's because you're hitting them. And they're very physical. They're athletic, not exceptionally big. They're not, they're typical Class A size. But Carmelo Jones is a linebacker, running back who is having a phenomenal year. I think he leads the state in touchdowns, points scored from the offensive side. But he also has a couple of defensive touchdowns. He has about 100 tackles. And he's one of those guys, he's a typical Class A 5'9", 175, 180-pound guys that just love to play football. I mean, he just gets after people.
David, Phil and I were having this discussion. I'm not a big fan of the schedule this week, and I guess we should have seen this coming when the state decided to go to 6 state championships. But can't we find a better way than playing a 2A state championship game at 2 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon, and one of probably the most anticipated games, the 5A Division I state title between Somerville and Dutch Fork at 2 o'clock on a Friday? Can't we do a little bit better than having afternoon games during the week for state titles?
Oh, we can certainly do better. What it would entail is playing 3 games in a day. I think parking, stadium issues, probably a little bit of a concern if you played that many games and traffic coming in and out and trying to get where they're going. I mean, we're not talking about Williams-Brice parking lot. If you had Williams-Brice, you could definitely do that. And you could play, you could play 2 on Friday. You could play 6 and 8, and then play 11, 2, 5 and 8 on Saturday.
Done that before.
So, yeah. But again, it's the parking and the stadium area. Quite honestly, I mean, I've looked at it, and I did some research last year when I was there. Talked to some people at the high school league, and the 1A game had like 1,500 people there. So getting the 1,500 people out back into Orangeburg on 301 or whatever is not that difficult. But I think the biggest crowd of the night was probably Camden and Daniel that Saturday night. 3,000 or 4,000 people. So it's not like it used to be. I was telling somebody the other day, I can remember being in Williams-Brice and there were 20,000 people there. But you had parking. You had plenty of you weren't worried about overflow and people staying and all that because you had it. I don't think South Carolina State has that, and it's kind of one of those things where you play a game at a certain time and everybody's happy until they get in the parking lot and they can't get out. And, they're sitting in the parking lot for an hour and a half. This is as long as the game. Then you have people, bitching and moaning, so to speak.
Well,
Can I say that on the radio?
Yeah, you did. Why do people who say things on the radio they think they can't say it, and then they say, "Can I say it?" You said it, and you're fine. You're fine. I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say it again. I don't know why state government can't do something to help out if it's a money thing. Why can't USC, state government, high school league get together? It's for the good of everybody. I mean, the greatest thing they ever did, the greatest thing they ever created was the Weekend of Champions with games on Friday and Saturday, and you bought a ticket, and you could stay all day Saturday and watch games. You could buy a ticket and watch the games on Friday night. It was a celebration of high school football in South Carolina. They had a facility to host coaches. It was so well done, and the crowds reflected that. 25, 30,000 even, I think, at one time. And they do have the parking, and they do have they've got the resources. Don't tell me you don't have the money. You got the money. And don't tell me South Carolina can't come down on that price. They can come down on that price. And state government can help out as well. So,
well, and I think you raise a great point, and I've always said the reason it's never done is because nobody's ever pushed it. It would take somebody, you got a guy like Jackie Hayes that's in the state legislature that has been a very successful high school football coach in South Carolina, and and he's on the Budget and Control Board, I believe. So, you need somebody to just step up and go, all right, guys, we got to do this. And then it probably gets done. It's kind of like, they're not doing it because nobody's bringing it up. And maybe, but you're right. I mean, South Carolina, a lot of Clemson fans used to cry about, well, they get the advantage of having it. Who cares? If a kid chooses to go to South Carolina because he played a state championship game on that field, good luck to him. If that's what you're basing your next 4 years on, go ahead. I never had a problem with that. I was like, play it all at one site. 3 days, a Thursday, that's just not good. Yeah. I do not agree with playing a Thursday, any game, whether it be at 2 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever. I think you got to condense it into 2.
I agree.
At least 2.
And have it at the best facility, at the best location for everybody concerned, a place that can handle the coming and goings of everybody. You got practice fields across the street for teams to warm up before coming into the stadium for their game. It makes so much sense. It's probably why nothing gets done.
That was exactly my point.
Yep. All right, brother. Have a good night. We'll talk to you tomorrow about the 2A game, which will be the first game on Thursday. All right, David. Thank you, brother. All right, David Shelton, High School Sports Report. Yeah, it makes so much sense. It'll probably never get done.
Too, Phil. Yeah, no, he's right. And I just don't understand this at all. First off, they're never going to convince me we need 6 state champions in South Carolina in football. We certainly didn't need 7 many, many years ago, and we don't need 6 now. But secondly, this playing at 2 o'clock on Thursday afternoon for the folks in Clinton and Barnwell, and then Dutch Fork and Somerville playing Friday at 2. There's a better way to do this. We just need somebody to get in a room and say, this is how we're going to do it. Let's move it back to Williams-Bright Stadium.
Well, I hate it for the kids, too, because, look, do kids today care? I don't know. To me, it was always my little puny high school sports career. You talked about going to Columbia to play for the state championship. Anybody who played high school ball in the upstate want to get to Columbia to play for the state championship. And now we're playing them all over the place. We're playing them in Aiken. We're playing them in Florence. We're playing them in Orangeburg. Columbia is the location. It is the capital city. It's got the facilities. It's got the hotels. It's got the infrastructure. It's got the police. It's got the highway patrol. It's got the flipping the National Guard if you need them. Yeah, it's got everything. It's got everything you need. So what is the problem? Where is Mike Anthony? I'm calling out Mike Anthony, Coach Mike Anthony, a former state rep. He should be also. He should be Jackie Hayes, Mike Anthony, I'm just trying to think. Any recently retired high school coaches with some power to them, if they agree with this, and I can't see why they wouldn't.
Maybe we can talk on Friday with General Wilson.
Attorney General Wilson,
yeah,
Governor Hodges,
yeah. We need to get.
Well, we're not doing.
Hodges
There's no
stick.
football filibuster this week since it's only Army Navy.
Only.
Well, it's the only game, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, I know. I get it.
Only, not
And I'm
only
glad.
as in only, but only as in the lone game. All right, we got to run to a break, and we will be back in just a moment and take more phone calls. And we got recruiting coming up. Zach Willis coming up, and I got these comments too. I got to play from. They stood out to me from Beamer and Sweeney, but I want to play. We got to play because I want to play them. So we got to play them. So we're going to try and play them as well. So we'll be right back. Sports Talk Media Network.
This is Major Billy Downer with the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. Boating season is right around the corner here in the Palmetto State. As you get ready for this spring and summer, make sure your registration sticker is up to date and you have a copy of your registration card on board your boat. For more information on boat registration and answers to common questions, visit dnr.sc.gov.
Set your youth up for a lifetime of financial success with Smart Start from Founders Federal Credit Union. Smart Start products and educational resources help teach kids and teens the basics of saving, budgeting, and smart spending. Help them learn smart money skills to jumpstart their financial journey with Smart Start savings, debit, certificates, and educational resources. Learn more at foundersfcu.com/smartstart. Federally insured by NCUA. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. That's the sound of a big hit on you and your car or truck. I've been an attorney for more than 30 years, helping people who get injured in car wrecks and truck wrecks. If you have serious injuries, call Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968, or email me at jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. That's CORBETT. I don't get paid unless I recover for you. Jim Corbett Attorney, for your best recovery from a big hit, 803-765-2968, or jim@jimcorbettattorney.com.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot. And the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
Sports talk every weeknight from 6 to 8, feeling just right. Phil, Chris, and Josh, they're in the zone. Across South Carolina, they're well known. Sports talk, bringing the heat. Talking sports, can't be beat. Tune in, don't you pout. It's a show you can't live without.
Back to the phones we go here on Sports Talk. Andy in Columbia, you're up next. Welcome in. Thank you for your patience.
Good evening, Mr. Korn. You can just call me 765.
You know, when he rips his shoulder,
mo money.
When he rips up his shoulder in May, call me back and tell me how that looks.
Oh, we have an opt-out in 5 years, so
You're stuck with him for
we'll
5
see
years.
how that plays.
That's okay. Great player. No, I don't deny Soto's a great player and would love to have had him with the Yankees, but now, we'll take our $760 million and we'll spend it on some other good people.
Well, I'm sure that Josh's cousin Steve still has plenty of dough to be spreading around, so I'm not worried about us having no other players to go along with him.
Is it true that all Cohens are related?
Hey,
no.
For Josh's sake, I hope so.
We are related. Me and him, we see each other at the family reunions.
To be honest with you, I really don't think that Steve Cohen has any more money than Kevin Cohen does. You know, but that's just the discussion for another day.
Actually, Steve Cohen actually grew up with my cousins in Great Neck, so they went to school together.
Well, there you go.
But
hit him up for a loan.
But you know, I don't think that they're that close anymore. That my cousin lives out in Palo Alto, and cousin Steve there is still in the Great Neck area.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you one thing: Dabo Sweeney farts horseshoes. Because if he isn't the luckiest man in the world,
exactly the kind of imagery we want on this program, is it? I think you had to say that. You really had to go that deep to bring that up, to use that language.
Yep. Excuse me, it wasn't any worse than the language that your last guest just used.
Kind of nauseating. But all right, go ahead about the horseshoes.
I mean, what got me was after the game how he said his team played a full four-quarter game for the first time this year. Well, if he calls that fourth quarter a quarter of greatness, it's just amazing. What amazes me is I don't see how the SMU punt, how they didn't have the kicker. Was his leg that bad that he couldn't kick it into the end zone or out of the end zone?
I'm not aware of a injury issue there. You know, he might have just got under it a little bit. I don't know.
And you know,
didn't hear anything about an injury.
And regarding what Bruce said, he can say all what he wants about how bad what's his name plays in the fourth quarter. He sure did complete the pass he needed to complete in the fourth quarter of the game Saturday night to put them in field goal position.
Sure did.
Didn't he?
I mean, when he's and we got to run. Andy, got to get to another call before the break. Thank you. When Klubnik is playing loose and free and confident and cuts it loose, he's tough. I mean, I was looking at numbers today, Chris. His numbers match up with the best quarterbacks in the country this year. The best.
Including Dylan Gabriel, who's a Heisman Trophy finalist.
Yeah, his numbers are right there. Numbers are right there. Next year could be his year to be a really strong contender if the team is,
That's
strong
the
once again.
difference.
Of course, they are
Gabriel
a playoff
plays on
team.
the number-
They are a playoff team,
But Gabriel plays on the number one team in the country.
Right. Hard to ignore that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, real quick, we go to Tiger Bryan. Got about a minute, Tiger Bryan. I know you can get it done. Welcome in. Be a hero.
Hey, I'm gonna be a hero. Hey, Coleman, how you like you cook your crow?
Oh yeah, I should probably chew on some crow. Yeah, I like mine.
Yeah, you got
medium rare with a special rub. I have a rub that I can put on it, so a special rub.
You kill Andy and all them Gamecock fans. Don't be a hater. I mean, we in our division, and we won it. We ACC championships every year, almost every year. If they can't win their division and get to the big boy dance, and I'm gonna tell you what now, Cole, we done whooped the ponies. Now we got to go after the bulls.
Watch out for those horns. Watch out for those horns. Those horns can stick you.
It's gonna be tough. I ain't gonna say we're gonna get them.
Yeah.
But we ain't no 11.5 point underdog.
I might take the points now when it comes to picking next week. I might take those points. You tend to count out Clemson. You tend to get bit by that when you do that. Tiger Bryan?
Right. We got the roll boys. Roll bus going, baby.
You got it. The rest of y'all, and we'll be back. We're going to hear from those coaches and another coach, Zach Willis.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Cloudy with a low temperature overnight of 56. Tomorrow we're mostly cloudy. Scattered showers were warmer with a high of 69. And on Wednesday, heavy rain expected, especially early on. We do clear out, and Thursday through the weekend looking much nicer. Sunshine and highs in the 50s. I'm Tal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Are you looking for free checking and free savings? Dave Ramsey here, telling you to go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank that's so big they lose the ability to treat you like a human being. At Palmetto Citizens, you're not just a number, you're a member. Join today at any of their 14 locations or at palmettocitizens.org. Federally insured by the NCUA.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters reporting. Police arrested a strong person of interest Monday in the brazen Manhattan killing of United Healthcare's CEO after a quick-thinking McDonald's employee in Pennsylvania alerted authorities to a customer who was found with a weapon and writings linking to the ambush. The 26-year-old man had a gun believed to be the one used in the killing and writings suggesting his anger with corporate America. Syria's prime minister says most cabinet ministers are still at work after rebels overthrew President Bashar Assad, but some state workers fail to return to their jobs, and a United Nations official says the country's public sector has come to a complete and abrupt halt. Meanwhile, streams of refugees crossed back into Syria from neighboring countries. More details at srnnews.com.
So right now may be the perfect
step into a brighter future with Broker Solar. Transform your home, your business, your nonprofit into a beacon of efficiency and savings. With Broker Solar, you're not just installing solar panels, you're setting the foundation for long-term financial savings, taking control over these power companies that, well, let's face it, they have a monopoly. You can't choose your power company, but you can control the cost of your power. Ken and his expert team will help you to navigate through any complexities of solar energy. They'll tailor a system that's perfectly fit for your needs and for your budget. Get a rooftop setup or somewhere else on your land, or just start with solar to integrate powerful battery backups so when the storms do come, the power goes out in your block, it'll stay on at your home. It's not for everyone, but if you're even curious, don't you owe it to yourself to reach out and call Broker Solar for a free consultation? Listen, if you trust the point, if you trust me, I'm telling you, you can trust Broker Solar. Explore your solar potential at brokersolar.com. Start generating power on your terms. Broker Solar, empowering you while shining above the rest.
Santa and his elves spend all year getting ready for one night, but there are some things that even the big man himself leaves to the professionals. Palmetto State Armory is here to supply the gifts for all the outdoorsmen on his list. Everything from guns and ammo to hunting gear, accessories, apparel, gift cards, and more. Santa trusts PSA to help him finish filling all those stockings. That's why the last stop the sleigh makes before the big trip is Palmetto State Armory. Palmetto State Armory, for the gifts the elves can't make.
Looking for a true wow, really, are you serious Christmas gift? I'm Jack Oliver, and we have it. A soothing, therapeutic hot spring spa from Jack Oliver's Pool Spa and Patio. Imagine getting that someone special or the family their very own hot spring spa for Christmas, then enjoying it together for years to come. We have Finleo saunas, beautiful patio furniture, and top quality grills too at Jack Oliver's Pool Spa and Patio, 3303 Forest Drive at jackoliverpools.com.
Customer service. We all talk about how it's gone down the tubes in recent years, but not everywhere. Not with the Hickory Hill Insurance Agency. These are the folks I want you to feel comfy reaching out to for your Medicare and health insurance needs. Tim Hanberry and Medicare Blueprint have joined Hickory Hill Insurance. The result? Even better customer service with a bigger team to help you by utilizing the very best technology in the industry. And you know what else? Just plain old caring about people and treating them like their family. When you call them, you'll get a call back fast. When you need a question answered, they'll take the time to help. This industry is so confusing, it's so ever-changing. They have a team that knows the best plans for you. They'll ask all the questions, they'll get all the answers, and as always, it won't cost you a penny to get their services. The best way to learn more? Visit the website, partdandme.com. That's partdandme.com, or call the team at Hickory Hill Insurance Agency. They're local, and they're willing to talk one-on-one. Remember, customer service still matters. 708-7398, 708-7398, or online, partdandme.com.
Do this everywhere we go. I think you know this ain't no one-horse rodeo. I think you know when we pull up green lights, I show
All right, back on Sports Talk. Got Coach Zach Willis coming up in just a moment. But little piece of Dabo Swinney from Saturday night. Of course, we've heard a lot of Dabo Swinney Saturday night and then Sunday on the conference call after they got the official selection to the playoffs, and we heard from him. But this is from Saturday night. Dabo Swinney, I think, at his finest, defending Dabo Swinney at the bully pulpit minutes after winning his 9th ACC championship. What a great time to kind of stand up for yourself.
You know, when I got this job, we were here in 2011 and won it for the first time in 20 years. And we hadn't won 10 games in 20 years. And, you know, we just had our 10th win for the 13th time in 14 years and our 9th championship in the past 14 years and our 7th CFP. And, you know, even with all that, people still want me to be like everybody else. And so I guess to answer your question is it's just following my purpose, you know, not compromising on what I believe and just letting God lead my steps and order my steps. It's just really the bottom line, you know, being purpose-driven as a man, being purpose-driven as a program. And, you know, so I know everybody wants me to be like everybody else, but I don't know how to be like everybody else. You know, we're a very unique and uncommon program. I think we've won more games than anybody other than Alabama the past 16 years. And we've certainly won more championships, I think, now in conference championships in the past 10 years than anybody. And second most CFPs, you know. And not only have we gotten to these CFPs, we've won. We've won on the highest stage against the best of the best. And, you know, we're at a point now where we don't win a championship and it's, you know, we got to fire everybody and it's just, you know, just this same old tired narratives that come up every single year when we lose a game. So, you know, you can check our record versus the SEC. You can check it versus the Big Ten. You can check it versus Notre Dame because that's really who runs college football. So I'm just really proud of our guys. And that's the only thing I can tell you is, again, being purpose-driven. And, you know, it's just God's plan. I mean, I don't, and certainly not me. It's a bunch of great young men that come to Clemson and they buy in to who we are and what we do. It's not just winning, it's how you win. You know, it's 2 years in a row we got the highest graduation rate in America. You know, it's a program that we try to serve their heart and not their talent. And I'm just, you know, we had this is our 14th year in a row with a postseason win. Nobody ever has done anything like that in college football. But all we hear is how bad we are and how terrible we are and how stupid I am and how, you know, whatever. And it's just, you know, we just keep winning. We just keep winning. And we're not perfect. I'm far from perfect. But we have great players who believe in who we are and what we do, and we have great coaches. And we're family. And so that's the best answer I can give you. And it's a blessing to be a part of it. I don't take that for granted. I told the team coming in, like, there's so many great coaches that never get a chance to coach in a game like this, prepare for a game like this, win a game like this, and there's very few players that get a chance to experience it. You know, I played in the first championship game in '92, you know, and played on the national championship team, and I've had an amazing career coaching and being a part of these things, but the credit goes to the good Lord and to a bunch of great young men that have just bought in and to our purpose and just staying focused on that purpose.
Now, First and 10 with Zach Willis on the Sports Talk Media Network.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Willis. We welcome in the coach, Zach Willis. First and 10. Had to get that little Dabo Swinney in there, and then I got some Beamer I'm going to play here afterwards. But I just thought that was some really insightful commentary from a man who has built it. He has built it. He has built it from the ground up. And, of course, he has taken arrows from all different directions, and he's right. Anytime they lose a game, it's do this, do that, fire this, fire that, jump on this, jump on that. And I played it because, Zach, I mean, I still believe in my heart of hearts he's not going to change, that he is going to continue to run the program the way he sees fit. All the people clamoring for him to go to the portal to get players and all that, I think he's going to fight that to his last breath.
Well, here's the thing. I think I know Dabo pretty well, and I've known him for a long time. And the one thing I'll say about him is he's never changed since his first day he stepped on foot at Clemson. I met him a little while after that, and he's just who he is. He's not anything any different than he was back then. Becoming a head coach did not change him a bit. I don't know if I've ever seen that before, but he's just the same guy. And he's going to go home. He's going to get on his knees in his closet or wherever he goes, and he's going to talk about it with the Lord, like I did in my career and I do in the career I have now and do with you guys. And that's what he believes in. And whether you agree or disagree, you can't disagree with the results. And for everybody who listen to this, he says we focus on their heart and developing their heart, and everything else takes precedence behind that, including winning. And that's why he's so resilient. I mean, they had a crushing loss to South Carolina and came right back and had a resounding win the other night. I'm sure we're going to talk about. But this guy is the last of a dying breed. And I had a guy ask me today why I got out of it. There's not enough Dabo Swinney's left in college football. That's why. It's not worth it anymore because of all the garbage that goes on, including this whole playoff deal, all the politics, all the graft and greed and corruption that goes on that you fans don't see. And I'm glad you don't, because we wouldn't have any fans left. And it's men like Dabo Swinney that keep hope. And guys like Shane Beamer. We got two great people at the helm of our flagship schools right now. And I'm very personally feeling, I think you agree, I'm very thankful for both of them.
I would agree. I think we're very fortunate in this state now to have two men leading these respective programs. As far as the game goes, let me read a text message we got here on our Sports Talk text line, which is 803-900-4847. Appreciate the text. Somebody had asked about the SMU kicker. I wasn't aware, and I was at the game, but a person texted us and says the SMU kicker hurt himself on the last extra point per Don Munson on the broadcast, a different kicker on the kickoff. We're talking about Adam Randall's kickoff return, and somebody asked about why it was a returnable. It didn't reach the end zone. So maybe that replacement kicker then, apparently they had one, leg wasn't strong enough to get it to the end zone.
Well, I think maybe Adam Randall didn't feel sorry for himself because he'd fallen behind two freshmen. He's had a kind of a disappointing career coming out of Myrtle Beach as a highly recruited kid and showed a tremendous amount of character, guts, and team mentality, and they didn't give up. They went down, and it doesn't matter. I understand about the kicker. He's going to return that thing anyway, I think. That's how they play, and they never quit. South Carolina don't have any quit in them either. But what amazes me is it doesn't matter what Dabo does, Phil, and you know this. Somebody's going to say something from the other. This ain't got nothing to do with Clemson, Carolina, maybe a little. But what it's got to do with is discrediting what he stands for, and I've always believed that. You know, people call you, it's just hilarious to me. You're kind of like Dabo. I don't know if you know this, but you're the old school, neutral guy in the middle who's a true journalist. Only reason I've been on this show all this many years, you're the only one to put up with me telling the truth all the time, as ugly as it is. It's what you want, it's what you love, because you have values and you care like Dabo Swinney does, and Shane Beamer too. And Shane's going to get to a point here where they start expecting this stuff from him, and then there's going to be all the haters pouring all over him. And that's all that is a sign of success. I mean, I've heard people call you Tiger Phil. I've been in meetings at Carolina where people were having meetings about Phil Kornbluth. You know, I always thought, I don't know what's wrong with him. He's just telling the truth as far as he knows it. And I you know, we're kind of all in that category. And when you speak truth to power, as Martin Luther King said years and years and years ago, this is what happens. And what I love is watching Dabo succeed in spite of it, watching you succeed in spite of it all these years. You know, and when you made mistakes, you know, it's novel in this world. You've admitted it. You said, hey, yeah, I got too close to this guy or that guy. That guy down at Newberry, I liked him too much years ago, that redneck from McCall. But the bottom line is that Clemson pulled out a true character win over a very very talented, very good SMU team, and that's the bottom line. As Stone Cold used to say, a 56-yard field goal by a freshman who struggled. You know what they did? They kept coaching those kids. They didn't throw up their hands and blame the kids. They coached them. He's got a great offensive line coach that coached that line, and that kid struggled all year. And in his hometown, well, Cornelius is right outside, he banged it through, man. And it's a great story. No matter who got hurt or whatever, they got it done. Who said they wouldn't have got it done in overtime? The game was just tied. They weren't behind.
Yeah.
And they dominated for 3 quarters, and SMU had a great comeback and proved to me they should be in there. But they shouldn't be ranked ahead of Clemson, who just beat them. That's retarded. And if you don't like me using the word retarded, turn the channel, because I'm going to say it as what it is. There's no way in the world that should happen. And how Boise State and Arizona State get buys. They get in. Boise State, the 78th toughest strength of schedule in the nation. Real impressive, especially the Gamecock fans who had 13th ranked one. And did you know that South Carolina had the 13th ranked strength of schedule, and only Georgia in the top 15 had a better record than them, Phil? That's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive stuff. They don't get in. Okay, they don't get in. But how does Arizona State, Boise State get buys over the likes of Texas, who lost to the same team in overtime in a heck of a game? And, I wonder, too, now, Jordan Travis broke his leg. They kicked Florida State out. Well, Georgia's quarterback, I hope, can play, but when I'm hearing it don't sound good. But yet they get promoted. Where's the logic in that? These people who are doing this stuff are nothing but politicians. It's no different than the swamp in Washington. And I really am looking forward to the games, but I think we've got a lot of work to do on this playoff thing. But we'll always argue over that.
Yeah, well, let me just to help you out here a little bit and clarify, you do know that the conference champions, the 5 conference champions, they get in automatically. No selection for them. You win your conference championship, you're in. That's why your Boise is in. That's why Clemson is in. That's why Georgia is in automatically with no questions about the quarterback situation, unlike Florida State, which they didn't have the automatic entry in that case. But this year they've gone to where if you win your conference championship, you get in. Now the seeding part, that had to go to the ranking, to the subjective ranking, and that's how that turned out the way it did. I mean, you might have thought that Clemson deserved to get a first-round bye and be a top 4 ranked team.
I don't think that. I think Clemson's better than Arizona State and Boise State. I mean, I think straight up they beat them, maybe not. But here's the thing: none of them deserve a bye over a team like Texas or Ohio State.
Yeah, but see, the only teams that get byes, you had to win your conference championship.
That's bad. That's bad planning. That's crazy.
Now they might change the rules next year. They're talking about already changing the rules.
Well, that's progress. Then the thing is this: I want the top 12 best teams in the country. I don't give a crap who wins it. You win some weak conference like Boise State won. I don't even know what conference they're in. Now, it really doesn't matter. Well, I mean, think about it. 78th ranked schedule in the country. I don't even know if they deserve to be in the playoffs, to be quite honest with you. I mean, they wouldn't when Coastal Carolina was really good, they should have been in the playoffs, and they had a great team. McCall went was it NC State or Wake Forest and showed just how average he was there, not playing against the same people. It was ACC competition. He's a good player, but he's not what people thought he was once you got him on that level. And I'm not putting him down. I think he's a great player.
In fairness,
and a tough
Coach,
kid.
he got hurt too.
He got hurt because he moved levels up too. Durability is a part of playing at that level. I mean, look at the beating that some of these guys take. I mean, look at the beating that. How about Sellers? You think Sellers takes a beating? Cade Klubnik takes a beating. He sure took one the other night. And I'll say this: I'm not putting anybody down, but I couldn't play at that level. It's not a personal thing, but coaches have to be critics. Coaches have to be, I hate to say heartless, but you have to be objective. I think a room full of coaches, I don't know what some of those people are doing on that committee. I mean, I don't want to call no names. I'm not going to do that, but they need to look. Football people need to run that. I went to an NFL game where they had a certain person reffing in the game, and it was obvious by the way they moved in their body language. They had no clue what they were doing. It was a Falcons game, Phil, that it was a really close game with the Chargers. threw one flag and they had to pick it up, and it took them 10 minutes to figure out what they even threw it for. And that's what's going. This political correctness is going to kill athletics. We've got it all over the place, and it needs to be swept away, probably along with the NCAA. I think these Power 5 teams need to break away and do their thing. SMU's in the Power 5. They proved they belong to beat it. But how are they ranked over a team that just beat them? That's crazy. And there's a lot of things that I could get into. But Clemson played with tremendous heart. I thought SMU, they impressed the heck out of me. At first, I was like, oh, boy, well, here we go. And then they came roaring back. Me and Phil were talking about their quarterback's phenomenal. And I think he'll be fun to watch, especially over the next few years. Hopefully, Rhett Lashley stays there and he stays with them. I don't know, somebody may try to snap him up. I mean, why haven't they got a handle on the whole tampering thing? It's not even been addressed, guys. And think that they can pick the top 12 teams in the country. That's laughable, but I think it's obvious to everybody watching the 12 best teams. There's a team in Columbia right now, and I'm not really hot about it. I knew they weren't going to get in. They made sure we knew ahead of time. I guess they thought it would soften things for people. But to have them sitting at home after winning 6 in a row and beating the people they beat's kind of crazy. I'd sure love to see them in there. I don't know about you.
Oh, yeah, that would have been great. All right, listen, we got to run. We'll pick it up next week. We'll dive more into the Clemson and Texas matchup for you. You'll have plenty of time to look at the two teams and give us what you think. And we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you. All right. As Coach Zach Willis bringing the hammer. He brought a couple of hammers tonight. I think he had a hammer in each hand.
A couple of that stuff, but I like the enthusiasm.
Yep. We will hear from Shane Beamer and a couple of recruiting notes coming up.
Football season is upon us, and that means Columbia is welcoming fans from around the corner and across the country. No matter where you're from, Gamecocks love coming together for game day energy that can only be found in South Carolina's capital city. Book hotel rooms, find pre- and post-game activities, and plan your tailgate spread with local favorites from pimento cheese to barbecue at experiencecolumbiasc.com. We'll see you soon, and go Gamecocks!
Your home is where your memories live. It's where you laugh and where you love. We understand the importance of the valuables under your roof, tangible and intangible alike. So no matter what's around the corner, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for nearly 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. Learn more at scfbins.com.
Call me, Alex Satterfield, at 803-749-9171 for all of your Midlands insurance needs.
South Carolina's taste buds have spoken, and they're asking for beef. There are more than 7,800 farms raising cattle from pasture to plate in the Palmetto State. So whether it's steaks on the grill before the big game, sirloin medallions plated for date night, or burgers with a family, make sure beef is a part of your playbook this football season. Smoked, grilled, and slow roasted. Find the best way to enjoy your beef at sccattle.org. Beef. It's what's for dinner in South Carolina. Funded by the South Carolina Beef Council, part of the Beef Checkoff Program.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
All right, we heard those words from Dabo Swinney that I thought were pretty interesting. And here's a little bit from Shane Beamer from his press conference last night after talking about going to the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, but of course having to deal with the very, very large disappointment of not making the playoffs.
You can say what you want. This is the best conference in America. And for us to only have 3 teams in the playoff is a shame. And I don't think you can truly say you got the 12 best teams in the playoff year after year, and only three SEC teams are in it when we've won however many of the last national championships. And best of luck to those teams that are playing in it. I hope Tennessee, Georgia, and Texas, one of them goes and wins it all. But I think you've got to look at that, no question about it. Automatic bids. I think everything's on the table, and you go into the playoff and 25 and this year and next year the same or whatever it is, and then you reevaluate going forward. And certainly the leaders across college athletics, the commissioners, the ADs, whoever else will figure out, how to continue to make it better. And this is the first one. It'll be great. I mean, I'm hurt that we're not in it, but I'm excited to watch. And it'll be great for the fans to have home games at the 4 locations. I mean, that's awesome. But like anything, there's always ways to tweak it and make it better, and for everyone. And whether it's the Big 12, the Big 10, the ACC, the SEC, the group of 5, whatever it is, let's continue to find ways to make it better. But, you're sitting there watching the rankings come out today, and it's a lot of thoughts going through your head when you see the teams that pop up there. Biggest frustration right now was maybe just the inconsistencies of what's important. Injuries were a factor last year. Florida State got left out. And I know there were only 4 teams compared to 12. Injuries were a factor last season, but apparently injuries weren't a factor this season when you look at our quarterback situation when he gets hurt on the last play of the LSU game, and we've got 265 yards of offense at that point. And, still had an opportunity to win that game, but that is a factor to me. Is strength of schedule important or not? Is it just important to go win games and it doesn't matter who you beat? This year, apparently, that strength of schedule didn't matter because we've got 4 ranked wins in the month of November alone. And there's teams in the playoffs that are over. I think I read that there's 3 or 4 teams that haven't even beaten a ranked team this year, if I'm not mistaken. So how are they going to look at strength of schedule? I know the chairman, I read a quote today that said the chairman said they absolutely look at it. Well, no, they don't. Can't tell me they do. Is injuries a factor? And then I'll have a hard time, Phil, forever or ever getting over his comments on Tuesday night that no matter what happened this weekend, nothing was going to change. That really bothers me. We didn't play. Alabama didn't play. Miami didn't play. Ole Miss didn't play. But when you sit there and you say we're going to evaluate the total body of work, how in the heck you don't take into account South Carolina just beat the ACC champion on their home field 7 days ago, and that's not I said I'm not going to use the D word and the P word. How that's not a factor in the playoffs, that one is mind-boggling. And again, the committee has a tough job, and as I said, I know we're flawed. Ole Miss has some flaws. We lost head-to-head. I get all that, but to sit there and say we're not going to evaluate South Carolina further after tonight or after their Clemson game because their resume is complete, that's bullcrap. I mean, we beat the ACC champion, and to say we're not going to take a step back, really reevaluate everything, determine the 12 best teams, I have a hard time with that one. So are we evaluating the total body of work, or are we just evaluating what makes things convenient for your rankings? That's what I would say.
The Sports Talk Recruiting Report is sponsored by Seawell's Catering.
All right, just a few recruiting notes here brought to you by Seawell's. More names in the portal, John. Clemson receiver Noble Johnson, USC tight end Nick Elksness, USC receiver Elijah Caldwell, USC receiver DeBron Gatling, USC tight end Connor Cox, Coastal Carolina running back Simeon Price, former White Knoll quarterback Avion Smith, Alabama A&M. Pete Nakos of On3 reported USC will get visits from Northwestern transfer offensive lineman Josh Thompson and Vanderbilt transfer offensive lineman Gunnar Hansen. That'll do it. That'll wrap it. See you tomorrow.